Welcome back everyone to the Blender Creator course, Stylized 3D Models, and this is where we left it off. Alright, so the first thing I want to do before carrying on is, I want to actually lift up this a little bit. I think it's a little bit too even with this here, and all being the same height. So what I want to do is, I'm going to press 1, I'm going to drag like so, and hopefully it's selected all of those. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick these up just a little bit like so. It's also going to give us more room for when we want to put windows in here, for instance, or where the roof's going to come up to here, and I think it's going to look better overall. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide those out of the way. So I'm going to press H to hide them out of the way, and then I'm going to come in, I'm going to grab all of these then, like so, and what we want to do is we're going to grab the tops of them. So we've got all these. You can press G and then right click to drop them in place just to make sure you've got them all. When you press tab then, you should be able to now come in with face select and grab each of these tops, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them up a little bit, like so. Now I'm going to press tab, I'm going to press Alt H, bring everything back, and you can see now this is what we've actually got. Don't worry about the gap being down there, we're not worried about that. What we want to do though is, we want to make sure that we're happy with where this window is. So at the moment you can see that we've not got a lot of gap to actually put this. So I'm going to lift this up now, and then I'm going to press S and Z and pull it up a little bit and get it reasonably where I actually want it. So somewhere like that. Doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be an idea of where we actually want it. Now the next thing is that this top of this roof, so this outcropping part here, I want to pull down. I want to make this basically the roof of this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to grab each of these three. I'm going to press tab. I've got 3 of them already selected. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull them down like so. And then I'm going to come to edge select, grab each of the edges on this side and pull them back. And that then will be the roof for this part. Now we can see straight away that this probably isn't coming out far enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab each 3 of these. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press S and X and pull these out a little bit. And then put them back in place like so. And again, this is really rough. Don't think too much of it. What we need to first of all do is just get a really nice idea of what this building's going to look like. Next of all then, what I want to show you is, if you come over to the little down arrow here, when you're on object mode, the easiest way to see what something's going to look like is to put cavity on, and it's going to give you a much better visualization of what things are going to look like. Alright, so now we've got that, we're pretty happy with how this is set out so far. Let's move them round. So we've got the front pretty much done as far as where the windows are going to go, how the outcroppings are going to go, how there's a little bit of a setback from here to here, and I'm pretty happy with that. If we go around to the side, I'm pretty happy with the side. I'm not so sure yet if this is not coming out enough yet. I think it needs to come out a little bit further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab these 3 first. I'm going to press tab, face select, pull these out like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to edge select, grab these 3. And then I'm going to go to the bottom of them, shift select them all, pull them out like so. And I think now that's looking a little bit more towards how I actually want it. Alright, so now let's move around to the back of the building. And let's figure out what we're going to do here. So at the moment we can see that we've got this part here, which is going to be a nice outcropping with a banister on there or something. I'm also, I think actually that's going to look nice as it is. The only the problem is that the top of it, we don't want it going all the way up the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into this one here. I'm going to grab this face. So face select, grab this face. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out further than the other part. So just a little bit of an outcropping coming out, maybe something like this. Yeah, and I think that's going to look good. Now what I'm also going to do here is I'm going to imagine that there's going to be another window on here. So I'm going to grab this part, Shift D, I'm going to pull it over, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rotate it round. So R, Z, and we need to rotate to 180 degrees. So 180, let me try that again, R, Z, 180, rotate it round. And then to go to the rear to put this in place, instead of pressing 1, which will give you a front view, press Control 1, and then that will give you a rear view, and then we can actually put this in place like so, and then let's pull it back. And again, we're not too concerned with is this in the right place? Is it the right size? I will make it a little bit smaller just to get a good visual on it. But apart from that, not going to worry about it. All right, so the next thing is then we're looking at this part that's gone back like so. I think we need another roof in this part here. So a roof coming down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to these two parts here. So grab these two parts, Shift S, cursor selected. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in a plane. So mesh, let's bring in a plane. And then we'll drag that out. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it up to something like here. I'm going to press S and Y and pull it out a little bit, like so. And then I'm going to pull it out a little bit more, like so. And then finally what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this edge. So edge select, grab this edge, and I'm going to drag it down, something like that. Now when we're doing this, we want to make sure that our guy, so if I press 1, make sure he's on the ground plane. So pull him up. So his feet are just on that ground plane there. Pull him back. We want to make sure that this roof is not too low down where he's going to crack his head along there. So when we've got some wood here, we want to make sure that he's going to be able to actually walk under this. So that's all I'm checking out there. All right, so the next thing is then I want to also make sure that I've got a little bit of a banister coming out here. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to give this some depth, because I hate working with things and when they're 2D, I don't think you get enough visualization from it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this with A, press the E button, and just extrude it down like so, just to give me an idea. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift A, I'm going to bring in another plane, and this time I'm going to bring this plane up onto this part. So let's bring it out like so, and I'm going to stick it just above this like so. And what I'm also going to do as well is, I think this one here, you can see it's going to overlap this. This is a little bit of an outcropping where people can walk out on, a banister going around here. So I need to make this a little bit smaller. So S and Y, let's pull it in like so. And if you're ever wondering, by the way, which one to press, just have a check on the green. The green will always be the Y-axis and the red will always be the X-axis, unless you've changed the global up here. If you've changed that, they'll probably swap over. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press S and Y on this one to pull it in, like so. And then I think I'll pull it out just a little bit more. And again, I'm going to press Tab, E, pull it up, just to give me some depth to that. Double tap the A, and there we go. All right, so I'm happy with that. Now let's come up then to our top bit, because on this bit here, all this bit here, I want to pull this out a little bit just to give it a little bit more, kind of nuance and make it look a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the top part, grab both of these faces, pull them out like so, just a little bit like so. And now we can see that it's looking really, really, lots of bits stuck out everywhere. The kind of way that a medieval building's going to look, which is kind of what we're looking for. All right, so now we've got that. What we need to do is we need to think about our roof. So we can see we've got a main roof, we've got another roof here, and the idea here is where do you want your roof parts? Because wherever you've got your roof parts, you want them you don't just want one big roof sat on here. It's not going to look as good as if you've got many, many little roofs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come, first of all, I'm going to grab all of the tops of these. So I'm going to press Tab, then I'm going to come in, Shift select all of the tops of these, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift D, bring them up a tiny bit, press P, selection, just to separate them all out. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in and re-grab all of these, like so. I'm going to press Tab, and then I'm going to grab these three first. So these three ones first, and I'm going to pull them up to the height that I want them. Now, generally speaking, probably going to be around the same height as this. I would start with that, and then you can work your way around that once you've actually got other things in. So let's press E and bring them up, like so. So you can see that roughly, they don't have to be exact, the same size as this one. Then I'm going to press S and X and pull them in like so, and that looks then like the first part of my roof. And then what I can do now is I can do the same with this one. Now with this one I'm going to make it a little bit different, as in I'm going to pull them the other way. So we can see at the moment we might have a problem because these ones are not quite touching, but we'll see. Let's pull it up then. So pull it up to nearly the same height as this. And then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to come in, grab this edge and this edge, S and Y, pull them in like so. Let's also come in then and grab the faces of these back ones, pull them back, like so. And now we've just got one left, which is this one here. So again, I think I'll have it the same way around as this one. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to press E. I'm going to pull it nearly to the height of this one. So nearly to this height. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these in. So I'm going to press S and X, bring them in like so. And then I'm going to come round to the back of this and just pull it out into my main roof. Now I can see here that this one is probably a little bit higher than this, and we don't want that. We don't want them the same height. In other words, I'm just going to drop it down like so. Double tap the A, and I think pretty much from that, we've got a very, very nice building. Now the next thing I want to do is just put a floor on there just to give me a visualization of the floor. So what I'm going to do with the floor is I'm just going to put, I'm thinking whether to put this building more in the center, and I think I will. So what I'll do is I'll grab all of these like so. I want to press Control A, all transforms. You can see all of the points go to the center, and then right click, set origin to geometry. It's going to put all the geometry in there. And then what you can do is you can press Shift S, selection to cursor, keep offset. It's going to move the whole building. And then finally we can go over the top. We can see we've pretty much got a center point here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to then put it near enough in that center point. I'm going to press 1 then to go into front view and then just pull it up to where I want it. All right, so that seems more now in the center. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I think before I finish, what I'll do is I'm going to pull these out at the moment. So I'm going to grab all of these and I'm going to pull them out just a little bit more because I don't think they're actually out enough. And there we go. All right, let's give this a floor now. So I'm going to press Shift S, cursor to world origin, Shift A. Let's bring in a plane, make the plane bigger, like so. And now let's work out where we want our actual floor to come up to. So nothing's set in stone at the moment. We just need something to actually work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Tab. I'm going to come into this part, pull it back a little bit, like so. We want to make sure that any windows, so if we go over the top, none of the windows are sticking out past the path. The main thing we want to make sure is if we put our guy here, how much room is he going to have to walk along here? He wants to have some kind of path, and then we want those, those blocks that are going to show the outside of it. So I think something like that's going to be fine. Let's do the other side now. So something like that. If I go over the top, we can see it's not extending over. Let's do the same on this bit now, like so. And then finally, let's do the same on this bit here, like so. And again, none of this set in stone. Now let's bevel these parts here. So let's bevel these parts. So we can come in, Shift select each of these vertices, like so. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to press Control, Shift and B. Important you're pressing Control, Shift and B because Control B to bevel is not going to work on vertices. So it's Control, Shift and B. You're going to bring them in. And then what you're going to do is you're going to scroll your mouse wheel up, maybe 1, 2 times, something like that. And it's going to give you a nice, beautiful round edge. All right, so on the next one, then what we'll do is we'll finish off this this floor. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a look. We're going to get some lighting in. We're then going to take a look at what our grey box is going to look like. All right, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let's save it out, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.